Hello and welcome back to the channel, and we're going to have a quick look at a teaser trailer for the Fallout TV series that was released a couple of days ago. It all looks very interesting. Generally it gives quite a positive vibe, but what I'll do first is just show you the whole trailer and then we'll look at a slowed down version and see what details we can pick out of it. So here we go, here is the teaser trailer.
I know that I've lived a relatively comfortable life.
Stop! Lucy! You need to go home. Vault dwellers are an endangered species. I do not think you would be willing to do what it takes to survive up here. If you insist on staying, then you will have to adapt.
Uh-huh.
Tomorrow, so they say, will be a lovely day. A bright new sun will suddenly break through. But I don't want to see tomorrow unless I see it with you.
I grabbed a moldy one.
So all very exciting, I'm sure you'll agree. But now let's look at a slowed down version, which obviously won't have the sound. So here's the vault interior. Not too much to say about it, but I think the inciting incident of the show is that something horrible gets released in the vault, either in the air or in the food, and it looks like people start attacking each other. And I get the impression that most people in the vault are either dead or isolated, and it's down to these few people here to try and launch some sort of rescue mission. So that's Lucy, our heroine, and in a minute she'll walk out the door. But we'll see something quite interesting on the floor there, on the right hand side, someone's body. So there's the body on the right, and there's three people in the background. And I'm assuming that this visit to the outside is unauthorised, and that they've had to overpower whatever crew is looking after the door. Here's Lucy in the wasteland, not looking too happy about it. Poor cow. And there's a nice welcoming present for her, this skull in the foreground there. Perhaps an indication of things to come. Little seaside town. I think this might be Santa Monica. You can see a Ferris wheel on the left hand side there. And here's Lucy wandering through the ruins. You can just see her walking between these nubs of concrete. Here's a radroach, our first Fallout critter, looking very handsome. And here's Lucy walking through the desert and about to get startled by a bit of tumbleweed. This will be the first time she's seen anything like this, so we can forgive her for being a little bit frightened, I suppose. Yeah, it's not going to bite you. I like this shot, but this shot reminded me an awful lot of the Mad Max game, which is full of these desert vistas, full of these rotting ships. Very good game if you've not played it. This is the guy we heard delivering a warning, either ship up or shape out. But he doesn't look terribly ravaged, does he? He looks just like a normal guy. I'm surprised he's not dressed up like a raider or something. And here we've got the Alsatian, our dog meat substitute, eating a critter. And I did bump up the exposure on this to see what it was, and it's a rad roach. Here are the vertebrates of the Brotherhood of Steel. I've heard a few people complain that the Brotherhood isn't very strong on the West Coast in this period of history. Most of the power lies in the hands of the NCR, the New California Republic, and that's put a few people's noses out of joint. But we'll just have to see how it pans out. It might be that the program makers thought adding the NCR would be too complicated. And we know this guy, this is Maximus, who's a squire to our Brotherhood of Steel warrior. We will see him in a minute. Here he is. I get the impression we never see this guy's face. I can imagine that being true. I imagine that we never see his face or hear him speak, but... Oh no, we got to hear him speak, don't we? But I reckon that helmet's going to stay on. Here's Dogmeat, found himself a chew toy. Here's the Brotherhood out in force. And a blood-spattered jukebox, which is very Fallout. We're back inside the vaults. Lots of worried-looking people. Here, lots of people apparently going berserk. You can see a body falling down. This guy's not happy at all, is he? So this is the reason I think something horrible's happened inside and something's been released into the atmosphere. This is Lucy visiting a junk town, which apparently is based on a junk town that you find in the Fallout games. Is it Megaton or something like that? Here's Walton Goggins playing the ghoul, looking very handsome there. And apparently in the Fallout games there was like a bounty hunter in this Megaton place, whatever it was called. And it looks like they've just turned him into a ghoul for the show. So a ruined house out in the desert. So a lot of the story is apparently Lucy and other people looking for this bit of technology that's going to help everyone in the vault. So presumably that guy's got something to do with it. Here's the ghouls shooting up the place. I think we're back in Junktown. Seems quite likely, doesn't it? Again, more splatter. Right, this guy is rather peculiar. It took me a couple of takes to realise it, but he's only got one eye. He's essentially a cyclops. Lucy looking quite startled there. Yeah, I don't think there's any characters in the games that are cyclopses, so it'll be quite interesting to see where he fits in. Here's a nice gun turret, and we're above the snow line. And it looks like Lucy has draped herself in a white blanket to try and avoid the guns. Some sort of hospital here, and that's a massive Mr. Handy. That's about twice as big as he ought to be. That's Kyle MacLachlan playing Hank, Lucy's father, who looks like he's in isolation. And I think we're back in the junk city with the Brotherhood of Steel here. Here's a Yao Guai, a radioactive bear attacking the Brotherhood. Lucy running for her life from something. And this is really weird. It looks like something out of Little Shop of Horrors, doesn't it? I've no idea what it is, apart from the fact that I wouldn't want to meet one. And this nice blonde lady is defending her corn crop from something with a Sten gun. So this is a Brotherhood of Steel airship, and that's called the Cassawenan. And here's Walton before the nuclear bombs fell. So apparently in the show we get a lot of flashbacks between the ghoul as he is now and what he used to be. And then lots and lots of extended shots of Los Angeles blowing up. So there we go, I think it's all rather good. A complaint I've heard, however, is that the makers of the TV show seem to be borrowing quite a lot of iconic stuff from the games and taking it out of context and just stuffing it into their show. So the Cassawenan is identical to the Prydwen, which is on the west coast, but the Prydwen should be a unique piece of technology, so the fact that they've duplicated it is a little bit suspicious. And also the junk city in this game is called Philly, and again that seems to be a location they've just stolen wholesale from the game. But no, I'm encouraged. I haven't seen anything there that looks terribly awful. I mean, there's all sorts of ways they could bugger it up, but let's keep our fingers crossed. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you found it useful. Hope to see you again for the next show, and until I do see you again, I shall say good night. Okay then, cheerio.